Caste laws were laws which controlled the originally of all just African males. Then they would try to extend them to African women. And the women put up a tremendous resistance. So they never succeeded in totally putting those restrictions. You could not be on the streets after 6 o'clock in the evening without a pass. You couldn't move from one province to another without a pass. It was a thing for a permit. And you couldn't live in a particular place without a permit or pass that would allow you to live there. So these laws were there to control the movement of the African population. For Indians, you couldn't go from one province to another without a permit. They didn't call them a pass, but they called it a permit. So these were laws that controlled the freedom of movement of the black population generally. You see, when the Nationalist Party came to power in 1948, they started tightening up on every aspect of people's lives. What they started doing, they banned people. For example, a journalist could be banned, which meant they could not publish, could not even enter a newspaper office, could have no contact with a whole range of people. It was also, in many cases, a form of house arrest. People were also banished. That means they were no longer allowed to be in the urban areas. And they moved all these people to go into various rural areas. Those affected initially only the African population. But subsequently, it affected all blacks. And it started affecting whites. White journalists were also banned. They couldn't carry out their profession. Lawyers were banned. Indian population similarly was restricted. So these laws were there slowly imposing more and more restrictions. Then Bantu education was introduced, in which it was said openly there is no place for the African in white society. So it meant you had to have a restricted education. You could not learn things. You couldn't do research. You were not taught things. Apart from the fact that they used Afrikaans as a language, but it was also, the syllabus was totally controlled. So these restrictions started coming in from 1948 gradually, and individual leaders were either banned or banished. If you were just banned, you couldn't attend meetings, you couldn't go into certain places. Well-known journalist Ruth First, who was subsequently assassinated in Mozambique, she was an internationally known journalist, but they were banned, then imprisoned for 90 days, but as you walked out after the 90 days, you were served with another banning order, so it became 180 days, and so on. This applied with no racial restrictions. Everybody was subject to these laws.